You are not boring. You're just not showing what you feel. Most people's level of expressiveness is a 3 or a 4 out of 10. They can't even show basic human emotions, literally. They look like they are NPCs. And the brutal truth is that if people can't feel you, they will be repelled away by you. People are attracted to people that are expressive. Expressiveness is a key component of charisma. Now, you might think that you are indeed boring because then you don't have things to talk about, but it's not about the content of your speech. It's just that your body is looking like an object. You are not making any gestures whatsoever. Your face is barely showing some chimp, ancient micro expressions, and your voice is whispering stuff like you're ashamed of the things you're talking about. How do you expect other people to be attracted by you if you are in this situation? Now, charisma is not about being the best storyteller, the best or the most funniest person in the room, or the most knowledgeable one, or any of these things. It's not about the content of your speech. It's just about how much soul and passion you're putting into the things you're talking about. That's literally 80% of this just being perceived as being charismatic and being attractive, having an attractive aura around you. People love that. And this is a very, very important point that most people just overlook online. No one talks about this weird, like feeling based stuff, but socializing and attracting people is all about feelings. It's not at all about just these logical and rational social skills and tips and tricks you can implement. So you should work on your expressiveness because truthfully, we're not trying to reverse engineer expressiveness here and just try to build it from scratch. I want you to rather become aware of your tendencies to be more expressive. Like for example, you could just record yourself explaining something, like talking about something that you're passionate about. Maybe it's a certain sport, a certain movie, something you did today, some plans for the future. Just record yourself on your phone and then just analyze your speech, analyze the way you look when you are talking, because you're like the most joyful facial expression you can show is probably something like almost like a robot. Isn't that the case? And the most surprised one might be something like, do you even have access to all of these muscles in your face? You should have. It's natural to have. It's natural to be more expressive and to truly, even when you're listening, react to what the other persons are talking about. When you're speaking, to put soul and passion into the things you're talking about. I used to be extremely unexpressive for most of my life, just like a robot, just communicating the thing that I had to communicate. And my facial expressions used to be literally what I showed you previously, extremely limited. And I obviously thought that I just can't be an expressive person, but if you also think something like this about yourself, if you don't go for a run for 10 years, it's quite unfair to say that you are a bad runner because you can't run even 5 kilometers. Isn't that the case? You need a bit of practice. You need to get your muscles used to that sport, right? To running, and in our case, to showing these facial expressions. It's very unfair to say that, oh, but I'm just not expressive. Your facial muscles are not used to making these expressions anymore. You need to put in the practice, and a good way to do this is to literally do it in front of the mirror, even to try to access these muscles, to have a wide smile, to have like expressions that communicate your feelings more. And you might think that, oh, but it's not very masculine if you're a man, or that it's not very mature because adults are meant to be more serious. These things have nothing to do with expressiveness. You can be very masculine and expressive at the same time, and you can be extremely mature and serious in your approach for every single situation while being expressive in your speech, while being expressive in social situations in general, even listening. It's two completely different things. This argument is completely irrelevant here. Expressiveness is something you absolutely need in your life. If you're not expressive, people just want to walk away from you. No one wants to be around a person that's just so robotical, and you just give these weird vibes of this repelling aura around you. It's something weird and abstract that people don't want to be around. And your facial expressions are just one component of it. But then your body language is another very important component of your expressiveness in general. Because you should show signs with your hands, with your body in general, when you're talking, even when you're listening. Like if a person tells you something surprising, you could literally be something like, oh, like just moving a bit behind. And again, I'm not trying to reverse engineer your normal expressions here, but just like show you that there are certain expressions, there are certain reactions that you probably feel like doing, but that impulse is hidden behind so many layers of just conditioning and coping and limiting beliefs that you can barely hear it. I want you to tune more into that, to become aware of the way you tend to react truly, without caring about judgments, without caring about all of these like weird rules you've set for yourself of having to behave in a certain way. You need more of that childlike excitement. And this excitement is something completely natural. We shouldn't even label it as childlike. It's just human, normal human nature, human connection, excitement. We need to show more of that. Your body language is extremely important here. Even the way you are faced towards the other person, or if you're faced away from them, or all of these very, very limited and detailed cues, they are very important, and they can make or break the way people perceive you. And like truthfully, they might think you don't care about the things they're talking about if you're listening to them and you're just faced in a completely different zone and looking in the distance. You might give the impression that you don't care whatsoever about the things they're talking about. How do you expect them to like you then? It makes it impossible, because they feel disrespected. In this situation, in this specific situation, it's best to slightly face them or to completely face them, because that might also be probably a bit too much to just face them like this. It might be a bit too intimate, you know what I'm talking about, but more like a bit of at an angle. There was an interesting study again that women tend to talk facing one another completely, and men are more like side by side, but they're still making eye contact. Eye contact is very, very important to show the other person that you are truly listening. Because again, if you're just glaring in the distance, they will probably think that you don't care so much about it. Now, if you would just to let go more and to just try to tune into that inner voice, you don't need any specific advice of how you should behave in a certain situation, but rather you just let go and you are the way you feel like being, honestly. You tap into that instinctive behavior, instinctive reactions. And that's the goal. That's ultimately the ideal, because you already have it in you. You just have to discover it. And then the last component I wanted to cover here is your voice inflections. If you're talking like you're ashamed of the things you're talking about, if you're talking with so much uncertainty and, even having this, how do you call it, high inflections at the end of sentences, I think that's the proper word, like just speaking like this, I'm not really sure what I'm talking about. It's impossible for people to truly trust you. You should put your soul into it. You should put more passion into everything you're talking about. Because unless you do it, again, one, no one will care about anything you're talking about. And then two, people might just think you are lying to them, because you don't even have faith in the things you're talking about. You give the impression that you are so unsure that you're just lying. Because people that are lying, they are usually more unsure about the things they're talking about. They can't really talk about that lie with conviction, because their body, their mind is just constraining them from doing so, knowing it's a lie. You don't want to give that impression, definitely. So then the best thing you could do is to just talk with conviction. Show the inflections, raise your voice, lower it then, make it a bit more spectacular, make it like a bit of a roller coaster. Why wouldn't you do that? Because again, as a child, you definitely had it. All children have it. You were not born a robot. You became more robotical, you became so reserved and so limited in your expressiveness due to conditioning, due to all of these experiences you went through. But these defensive mechanisms you've developed of being extremely robotical, extremely just like following a script that you know kind of works but doesn't get you fantastic results anyway, this is not needed anymore. It's time for you to become more expressive, to take some courage, and to just let go of these defensive mechanisms, these limiting beliefs, these layers and layers of conditioning. You should be more expressive. So just have the intention to be more expressive, do the practice, do the exercises every single day in front of the mirror or recording yourself, trying to improve your level of expressiveness. And you'll just see that when you show it to other people, they are automatically more attracted to you because you're just showing a human side to them. Now, you also have to take into account the fact that if you suddenly become a lot more expressive overnight and show that to your friends are gonna notice it. Your friends are gonna be like, who's this person? Why do you behave like this? This is not you. And you might take it as a sort of a setback. But of course they are gonna be surprised. Of course they are gonna notice it because you've just gotten them used to you being very, very reserved. But with time, they're gonna get used to the new version of you, so there is no point in being ashamed of it. It's normal that they're gonna notice, and the fact that they're gonna notice, the fact that they're gonna point it out to you, that's a green flag. That's something good, that's a good indicator that you're doing the thing that you're supposed to do. And like even for you, it's gonna feel a bit unnatural. But then again, remember the running analogy. If you haven't went for a run for 10 years, it's gonna be incredibly hard to go on a run after 10 years of not doing anything. It's just the same with your facial expressions. As a baby, you are very expressive. You don't have to learn it, you have to remember it. It's already in there. And if you want my personal guidance with such a journey, I have a link in the description and you can book a one-on-one call with me and I'm gonna help you personally get through such a journey and get on the other side where you can attract people and be yourself and enjoy your social experiences.